Welcome to Digital Toolbox. We're going to go over how to create a diagram now after we understand how each button are being read using trees. And if you haven't watched that tutorial yet, please do so, because we're going to continue from that definition. And right now I have that definition open, and we don't need this parameter viewer anymore. We just need the original parameter viewer for the original button. And now we're going to try to create the new definition to get our diagram. So we just flatten out the sDivide button. That's the new button in the new Grasshopper version. And when we flatten it, it has no groupings. So we need to create the grouping so it looks exactly like the old button. And to create a group from a list, you go to Logic, go to List, go to Sublist. And this will be further explained in other definitions that we've done before, that using a space frame, creating a space frame, we use this list. So the sublist button is just basically create sublists inside a list. So it's going to ask for a list, and we have a flattened list. To do that, we're going to plug that in. I'm going to unpreview this because it's doubling up points on the Rhino window, and I is asking for an interval. We can go to scalar, go to domain, and then go to domain, and that will give us a to B interval. Except now we need a list in A and B. So what we need to do is look at our panels. We need a list that goes from 0 to 3, 4 to 8, 9 to 12. So we need a series to create such a list. Go to Logic, go to Sets, go to Series. We're going to need two series, and that will go into A and B. So now that it turned gray, that means it's reading something. So we can go to grab another panel, plug that into list. You can see right now that it only has one item in each list, and we can reset that. We also need a parameter in the domain and see how it's reading in domain. So the domain says from 0 to 0, 1 to 1, 2 to 2, because these are the exact same ones. I'm gonna grab a number button. I already have one, and I want the interval to be 4 since we want to jump every 4 items. So I'm gonna change this button to 4 and plug that into N. So now it's reading from 0 to 0, 4 to 4, 8 to 8. So we want the second number to start at 3. So I'm going to grab another button, another number button, and change this to 3, and plug that in as the starting number. So now it's reading from 0 to 3, 4 to 7, 8 to 11, 12 to 15. Just how it should be read in the original button. 0 to 3 for number of items, and 10.051, 19.957, and the second group starts at 20.02, and it seems correct. And if we go down, it only has 10 items, and this has 99 items. So we have to change the C value, and the C values are being changed because of our UV values. So simply 10 times 10 would get you 100, and that would be the same number of items in the original button. So we'll go to Logic, go to Script, grab the F2 function, 2 variable function. In the expression editor, you can type in x asterisk y for x times y, and then commit changes. Plug in the x and y for the u and v values, and then plug the resultant into C for the series. And now you would have 99 values in the group. So now this button, the subset button, is reading the same way as our divide button in the old version of Grasshopper. We'll be providing this definition in case you want to use the old divide button. The divide button still works, you just won't be able to get it in the new version of Grasshopper. The new version of Grasshopper, you have to use all these other buttons to do what we wanted in the old divide button. So I'm just going to delete these parameter viewers, and I'm going to open a list definition where it already has our diagram set up. So I don't want to recreate the list. What the list does is you're just grabbing a list and then grabbing a number and then plugging it in. So it has 4 lists. Each list has a different number from 0 to 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then we use a P line to connect the first and the third buttons together, or first and fourth, and you would get that side of the digrid, and you would do it again for 1 and 2 to get the other direction of the digrid. And that's how you create a digrid using a new version of Grasshopper. If I went too fast at this portion, you can go back to the other tutorial, the old tutorial that goes over this portion of the definition to understand it more. And thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the new version or the revised tutorial of the list item. Thanks again.